Oh man, I am so stressed out right now. What to do to fix this? Oh, Mary!
Hi, Maddie!
Ah yes, the perfect straw man. Literally. Mary, I feel overworked. What can I do to fix this?
Well, you could do what you always do and pile more pressure on yourself by adding more and more products until you have so much on your plate you don't know where to start, and then products end up unfinished, or you worry so much you'll do a bad job on a project that you'll let the person you're doing it for down, that you decide to give up on it because you feel inadequate to complete it, resulting in letting them down anyway because you have such a low self-esteem. Or...
Oh, thank goodness there's an or.
You could make a review video. Maybe on an MLP episode you've always wanted to do, but never got around to.
Yeah, I could do that. Yeah.
You're trying to think up a segue into the subject of the video, aren't you?
Yeah.
Want me to make it easier for you and summon friends and force them into a collaborative project that will give you an incentive to actually get a video done for a change? There! Cute artist friend. Cute. Might be a bunny, I'm not really sure. Can review the MLP episode Suited for Success with you, which you've been putting off for so long, so you can talk about whether you should make exceptions for friends when offering to do work for free for them, even though this is your full-time job. There, segue set up. I'm gone. Bye!
What just happened? What the? Hey! Who pulled me out of my channel in the middle of my own project?
Artist friend, overstressed, overworked, and over here.
Oh, sorry, Maddie. Oh, do you need a hug?
Always.
So, let me guess. Mary's summoned me here for a review.
Yep.
But what about my collab project?
This is an episode of MLPG4 I have been meaning to talk about for a long time now. Probably since I actually started reviewing MLP stuff. Ironically, I kept putting it off because it was, for me, a topic that hit a little too close to home. I'm a full-time artist, so yeah, it was awkward. An episode way back from season 1, Suited for Success, was the 14th episode of the show and is about when creative instincts are overruled by client specifications and the results threaten to ruin Rarity's prospects with a very famous fashion designer.
Yeah, this episode makes me quiver a bit due to the subject matter and knowing full well how Rarity must be feeling every step of the way. Should an artist make exceptions for friends when they do offer to do free work for them? Do the main 6 take advantage of Rarity's generosity, or did Rarity make the changes to keep her friends happy and inevitably sabotaging her initial goal?
Hey Bliss!
What?
She's working for exposure!
I'm falling for this trap! I know this pain! Rarity, run! Save yourself!
It's clear that Rarity loves her friends and she wants to make them happy. I think it's also the fact that Rarity doesn't want Twilight to possibly make a fool of herself by making do with wearing a dress that has clearly seen better days. Twilight isn't worried or concerned about how she looks though, and says the dress she has is fine and just wants Rarity to make simple repairs.
I personally think it is okay to do free work now and then, as long as it's you who is making that choice to do so, not being guilted or manipulated to the process. Making presents for close friends or family, or doing a favor in return for something else is completely normal and fine, especially if no one knows about it or doesn't have expectations. Your tablet, pencil, paintbrush is your magic wand, and you get free reign to do what you want, knowing more than likely the people who you do it for will greatly appreciate your efforts. Just don't let the mindset of giving back to others run you ragged into the ground is the issue.
Ah yes, learning the art of delegation. Being humble enough to know when to ask for help, or to admit you've taken on more than you can chew. Striving for perfection to please clients and friends alike, to earn a feeling of accomplishment, to boldly go where no artist has gone before. Learning the art of delegation. I don't know why I went on William Shatner there.
I am a creature who loves to serve others, who likes to make them smile with the help of my artwork or video editing. So if I'm able to help, I'll do whatever I can. But after working an entire climax series of TF2 Red vs. Blue while balancing rewards for those who support me on Patreon, several commission projects during the beginning of every month, while trying to balance time to play D&D with my friends, join streams when I made the promise to be there for them, being a guest for an online convention, and still find some way to squeeze in my own work for my channel projects and—
Wow, you're more stressed out than I realized. Maybe you need more help than I do. I'm telling Doc!
Don't you dare! He knows enough about my problems, okay? I've talked his ear off long enough. He doesn't need to hear more about it from me. If you tell me, I'll tell on you for being stressed out!
Too late.
So, Miss Bliss, Maddie tells me you need help with something?
Betrayal! I don't have to put up with this. I'm leaving.
Okay, I've walked into another one of these cases. You do remember how our Workaholics video went, right?
I'm not scared of you.
Sure. So, what brought on today's panic session?
Who says we're panicking? I'm not. I was in the middle of working on one of my projects when the much taller pink version of these two pooped me here to talk about Suited for Success, because apparently she and I relate to this way too much.
And it suddenly makes a lot more sense.
Are we done throwing each other under the bus now?
Well, I was gearing up for another attempt.
Let's get back to the episode.
I concur. I think I'll join you to make sure you two remain civil.
Yay, the talking squirrel is here!
I have to admit, going back to season 1 is very strange after watching this show for 9 seasons. This is the 14th episode of the series and marks a turning point in regards to the season-long plot leading up to the Grand Galloping Gala at the end of the first season. It also offers vital character development for Rarity and showing where she fits in the dynamic of the main 6. The episode also serves as a preface for another story from season 1, Green Isn't Your Color, as well as Sweet and Elite in season 2.
The original title for Suited for Success, or Dressed for Success being the alternative title, was Dress for Failure, and the main theme is basically about when you bite off more than you can chew, or not to look a gift horse in the mouth. Pun unintended, of course.
And sum up, it basically means if you are doing a favor for someone, don't compromise your talent and good taste. Or if someone gives you a gift of their labor and talent, you should receive it and appreciate it, because the thing itself isn't the gift, it's their time and labor they put into it. Which, admittedly, even we, the artists in this case, can't forget that it's not the product, but our time that what is important to our friends.
Creative people put a lot of themselves into what they create, and for some, they give things they create to their friends to show how much they mean to them. To me, this is definitely one of my ways of showing how much I love and appreciate my friends and family. I make things for them. Suited for Success touches on how a creative mind thinks in a general sense, and how the relationship between an artist and a client often works. Creative instincts are often overruled by a client's esoteric specifications. In this case, it results in Rarity's prospects with a famous fashion designer being threatened, and the main 6 unintentionally sabotage Rarity's career.
It does beg the question when dealing with friends who are customers. Should the artist make exceptions for friends when offering to do free work for them? Are the main 6 taking advantage of Rarity's generosity here?
I say we take a closer look.
Looking back at the season 1 animation of characters and backgrounds while also comparing it to the final season, it's rather impressive how much more detailed and sophisticated the show became. How far all the assets have come.
Everything is so much more minimal and flatter here.
It's a little more loony.
It may be because this was before they knew that the show was going to appeal to an adult audience. They were still trying to find their footing here. Plus, with several years working on MLP, of course the animators are going to be much more experienced and thus more willing to flex their creativity.
Even the intro is so simple. Oh, the library!
Oh, the library.
Ah, nostalgia.
I'm sad now. So the episode begins with Rarity. The poor library just didn't have a chance.
Maddie.
Sorry. So the episode begins with Rarity hard at work in her boutique, concentrating on her sewing machine. Her friends Twilight and Applejack. The library just blew up.
Maddie!
Sorry. Her friends Twilight and Applejack come to visit and respect that she's trying to concentrate, so try not to disturb her. They carry on talking in a whisper, and Rarity is clearly trying not to lose patience with the interruption. Something I am terrible at.
Shh. Rarity's in concentration mode.
Once Rarity gives them her full attention, Twilight shows Rarity a dress she intends to wear to the Grand Galloping Gala, and requests Rarity do a simple repair job on it.
Just from an artist's perspective, Maddie, tell me if I'm wrong. Does that color scheme on that dress even go with Twilight's scheme? The reds and the red hues,
Yeah, I think it's deliberately meant to clash, so we understand why Rarity wants to jump in and offer to make her a new outfit.
This is a hobo suit, darling. You can't be seen in this. I won't allow it.
Twilight is reluctant to take Rarity's offer because she recognizes it will be a lot of work. But then Rarity also offers to make a dress for Applejack as well. When Rainbow Dash literally drops in, Rarity gets the idea to make dresses for all her friends, including herself.
Idea!
Light bulb.
Oh no, she's in the web!
Oh, it'll be a little bit of work, but it'll be a wonderful boost for my business. Plus, fun! I'm going to work for exposure, darling!
Oh yes, it's gonna be so much fun, yes!
Applejack, ever being the voice of reason, states what Rarity is planning on doing and is concerned she is taking too much on board.
So, all you have to do is make a different, stunning, original, amazing outfit for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, plus yourself 6 ponies?
I find this funny now because all I hear is Doc talking.
I'm sorry that I'm the logical one. I try to plan things out. I have no doubt that Rarity has the ability to make all these dresses in time for the gala, but she never stopped to consider if what she makes is approved by all of her friends. That's what gets away from her in the end.
She's doing all this for free, on her own volition, and her friends technically never voice their opinion of what they want in their dress to be like from the start. As far as I know, they are getting a free dress and it's gonna look just as they hoped it will. I feel this is both a fault on the creator and the client here, though, sadly. Communication is very important during these exchanges.
Yeah. I would say that Rarity wouldn't think of getting her friend's approval on outfits she's offering to make for free.
Lickety split?
Lickety split! G1 fans will understand.
Ah, the song Art of the Dress. A parody or tribute of sorts to the Stephen Sondheim song Putting It Together from the musical Sunday in the Park with George.
Rarity dives right into making the dresses, having full creative freedom and control over each project. When she shows the finished dresses to her friends after she finishes singing, she maybe oversells herself a little by saying,
Aren't they all amazing?
Ooh. Mistake number 1. Giving yourself praise not knowing if the client will agree. Don't get me wrong, it's okay to be proud of your work. I have moments where I was super happy with what I created, especially if it was something fun and what I had been wanting to do for a long time, and it was more personal than public. And for Rarity, I could get why she would say this since she wanted to do this because of her creative need and excitement. That being said, I get really insecure about whether or not a friend or a client will like the work I put into, say for a commission or a project for this exact issue displayed on the episode. I never assume the final product is finished until they give approval, and I never like to go too far ahead until I get feedback that I'm good to move on. But compromise and communication are important to accomplishing the same goal we all have, to create something amazing and entertaining. That's what good friends do after all.
yeah, Rarity is almost intoxicated on her own inspiration here.
Pouring so much time and effort into a project only to have an audience or client give you a blank stare or silence? Rarity's heart must have sunk dramatically at this moment because she would have been looking forward to this for so long and all of that excitement just becomes dead. What does that do to a pony?
It turns into me.
None of the main 6 have given Rarity any specifications on their dresses. It's given Rarity creative freedom to do her own thing for each dress, and because of the discipline she has and the experience she has in designing and creating, intertwined with the love she has for her friends and wanted to make them happy, she successfully creates a dress for each of her friends that to her and to the audience look amazing. They even get the purr of approval from Opal.
Do you think it looks cheesy?
Yeah, always consult the cat, because cats always know better.
Oh, really?
Oh, look over there, a distraction!
Rarity is pretty steadfast in insisting she do the dresses over to make sure her friends feel that the dresses are absolute perfection to them. But her friends just stare in silence. It's very disheartening and discouraging. Not getting praise to Rarity means she's disappointed them.
I know what she's going through though. My heart.
Are you in actual pain watching this?
It's certainly rubbing a few nerves. Fear of disappointing friends or letting clients down? It's hard for me to imagine. Yes, aim to do your best, but there needs to be a line.
So after seeing her friends aren't happy, she offers to remake the dresses how they want them to be. So now each of the main 6 represents the different types of clients I'm sure you two have had experience dealing with. Fluttershy is too caught up in specific details, Twilight is obsessed with accuracy and aesthetic instead of design, Applejack is too hung up on practicality, Rainbow Dash is being vague to the point of showing disinterest, and Pinkie Pie is being overly excited at the opportunity while also changing their mind, constantly throwing new ideas at Rarity instead of keeping things focused and simple.
The arm size tight, the midi collar doesn't go with the shawl lapel, the hems are clearly machine stitched, the pleats are uneven, the fabric looks like toile, used a back stitch here when it clearly called for a top stitch or maybe a traditional blanket stitch, and the over design is reminiscent of prêt-à-porter and not true French haute couture.
Okay, I'm just gonna cut out my heart and give it to you. Here you go.
Fluttershy has a freaky knowledge about sewing, but she knows nothing about design. Is she being too pedantic here? Is her feedback still valid in spite of the techniques used not really being important in the long run? Especially since Rarity has a time limit. For me personally, it's good if a client knows what they want, but if they get too pedantic, it can stifle any creative freedom and make the artist lose interest in the project entirely because they know that they will have to repeat revisions to get it exactly how the client wants. Though in experience, a client may do this because they want to give the artist a direction to go in, which is good, but it's better to keep things short, sweet, and to the point. You can get into specifics during the process together. Going into all the minor details when the final product is done is far too late.
Or what about when clients want to pursue authenticity to the point that they don't take into account how this is going to work as a whole, nitpicking about the small details and ignoring the bigger picture, not thinking about how these small details would work together. Twilight wants things to be authentic to the actual night sky, without taking into account if this is going to work for a dress or a piece of art or whatever else have you.
Or what about when a client doesn't really know what they want, but they claim ownership over the piece and become pushy regardless of not having a clear picture of what they want?
Whose dress is this?
Okay, that was pretty pushy. Whose dress is this? The customer is always right. She's more obsessed with her wants instead of what the dress needs. I may not know much about it, but I can relate to Rarity's plight here. Making clothes is a form of art, and we have an eye for what we want, how it looks, how it reacts, depending on the mood or flow. I know it's complicated to describe, but while some may think they know what they want and think it will work, if you've not experienced or actually made the product, you can't really say for sure until you actually make it. Or in this case, try it on.
I know that Lauren Faust was not the writer of this episode, but I have to believe that these next few lines in particular is just an animator trying to vent her feelings toward every producer she's ever had to work with.
Gotta balance style with adherence, making sure we make a good appearance.
Even if you simply have to fudge it,
Make sure that it stays within our budget.
What budget? She's doing this for free!
At last, all the dresses are complete, and they are exactly what the main 6 asked for. Rarity is clearly exhausted from working, but she is also happy to see her friends are elated at how the dresses have turned out, because it is exactly what they asked for. Pinkie Pie is the only one who actually asks Rarity if she is happy with them, and Rarity responds that she is happy because they are happy.
Oh yeah, Spike is in this episode.
Here is where Rarity gets the opportunity to meet one of her idols and a chance to show off her designs. As bad as the designs are, she does the fashion show for her friends anyway.
This is also the episode where we are introduced to Hoity Toity for the first time, and the very first appearance of Vinyl Scratch too, come to think of it.
Relax, Rarity. Your friends like their outfits, and so will he. What's wrong with the lights?
She is so overworked she's become delusional.
Relatable!
Oh, those amateurish designs look like a piled-on mishmash of everything but the kitchen sink.
Less is more, darling. Less is more.
The awkward silence after the fashion show. How do you recover from something like that? Rarity was ashamed of those outfits and was forced to put them on parade in front of one of her idols. She should have said no, but if she did, she would have had to tell her friends how she really felt about the dresses they loved. How does one work up the nerve to face your friends like that? You'll be literally telling them that their ideas are terrible, at least in this case.
Yeah, but given this opportunity to exhibit your work, whether it's your best work or not, to someone you admire, who's one of your heroes, when would that opportunity come again? She couldn't exactly pass it up.
Rarity was willing to put aside this huge chance of getting her work into the fashion elite world because she cared more about her friends being happy. With that being said, her insistence on making the dresses in the first place, her insistence on getting their feedback even though it wasn't the best feedback, her insistence on pushing herself even to the point of exhaustion just to get them the way they wanted it, plus she had no idea hoity-toity was coming until later that same day. She wouldn't have been able to plan for that, but she was trying to push herself, especially with her patience trying to make her friends happy. Perhaps when she was hiding behind the curtain at the fashion show, she was trying to convince herself that everything was going to be fine, even while knowing all the while it was going to be a disaster, knowing that there was just no way out of this. She was a little overconfident, proclaiming how perfect her dresses were. We have to believe there is at least a little bit of her own ego in that. Not much, but it is there. And now it's going to lead to the very first Rarity meltdown in the series. This is where we get to see how talented Tabitha St. Germain can really be in her voice acting. This was the episode that made so many people realize how great a character Rarity was back in the day.
Yeah, this would be why I've been putting off talking about this episode, because it's so painful to watch as an artist. I've had so many meltdowns similar to this, although probably not so dramatic, but yeah, it's still so relatable.
Let's watch the Rarity meltdown.
Doc, you had way too much joy in that sentence.
You feel for the character, but it's still entertaining.
That, and you probably enjoy hearing Tabitha St. Germain act out the meltdown a bit too much, maybe?
Animal endangerment to trick Rarity to get out of her salon to see her finished dress her friends made as an apology. Friendship!
You know, it's kind of cool because they're communicating to her how much her friendship means to them in the same way she expresses her love for them. Generosity and creativity, culminating in the gift of creating her dress for her.
I don't like it.
Ah, she's just given them a taste of their own medicine.
Yeah, a small taste.
I love it!
Well, yeah, you would. You designed the thing.
So after the main six apologize and Rarity snaps out of her meltdown, they help her organize another fashion show for hoity-toity to see Rarity's real work, showing that they are now fully invested in supporting her creative endeavor in each project, modeling the dresses in the show.
Brava! Brava! Magnifico!
Yay, validation!
Rarity is very much a words of affirmation kind of pony, I think.
Yeah, I'm not. I don't take compliments very well.
Maddie, you do amazing work.
Yeah, my kryptonite. So after rewatching the episode, does it still hit too close to home for me? Do the main six take advantage of Rarity's generosity, or did Rarity make the changes to keep her friends happy and inevitably sabotage her initial goal? While I don't personally feel the moral really is don't bite off more than you can chew here, because nothing in this video is outside of Rarity's skill zone, proving to herself and her friends that she has the skills to do multiple projects at once, do them to a high standard, and within a time frame that she set for herself under her own terms. The problem stems from the fact she did this for free, or rather insisting that this was a favor, and her friends took that for granted.
All in all, I think I have a different perspective to this episode than the two of you. I've so very rarely been on the side of one being commissioned, and much more being on the side of commissioning the talents of others. But at the very least, I sincerely appreciate how a story like Suited for Success can give me a deeper understanding of what it feels like to have someone constantly nitpicking your creativity, or putting aside your own expertise and experience just because you want your friends to be happy with the end result. I have deeply appreciated all the work you've done for me over the years, Maddie and Blissy. And to be honest, watching Suited for Success taught me early on that I should put more trust in an artist's perspective when it comes to their line of work. I've been more than content to give a short description of what I needed and then look forward to whatever either of you drew up. And I do hope that many of you out there take that same lesson to heart. Don't look a gift horse in the mouth.
That's a lesson I know I struggle with that Dog seems more content on, but that being said, this episode has and still does today make me reflect on past events where I could have handled things better when dealing with projects that revolved around friends. There is such a thing as being too excited with the wanting to help, to the point that it can compromise your own well-being, whether mentally, physically, or in Rarity's case, even financially or by business case. There is so much to this episode that not only provide help to children, but adults as well when learning important lessons on how to balance your time to the craft as well as to your friends and business. Like Maddie and the artist's perspective, there is a time and place to wanting to help and give to your friends, but also acknowledge that you can only do so much, and therefore need to set boundaries or lines for not just yourself but your friends as well. Communication, I feel, is very important here, and it's something this episode didn't directly address, but did show it could have helped in the long run. Talk to your friends. Tell them what's on your mind, and hopefully it will work out for the better for your craft and your gift to your friends.
It can be humbling to know that people wish to come to you for your own creations, and it's also a privilege to be able to create things as gifts for friends and loved ones to express how much they mean to you. Though I appreciate that this episode went to the effort of showing the difficulties artists face without portraying any particular person as being malicious. It's more of unspoken concerns and stresses that can often occur during the process of an artist and client getting to know and understand each other when creating something together. Thank you so much for joining me for talking about this episode, guys. Been meaning to cover this one for a while.
Glad to be of service, Miss Munchkin.
Yeah, no problem. Now, how do we get out of here?
We may need Mary Sue's assistance here.
No, we don't. I can teleport us out. See ya, Maddie.
Feel better, Maddie?
Yeah, I do actually. Thanks, Mary.
Yay, I did a thing! Best strawman ever! Wait, that's not a good thing.
I'm Mad Munchkin. Stay creative. Hey, thank you for watching that video. That was a long time coming. Collaborative projects like this always take a long time. I'm so happy with how it turned out. A huge thank you to DRWolf and Lightning Bliss for their help in making this video. I've been wanting to review this episode of MLP pretty much since I started watching MLP and reviewing MLP content, so yeah, that's how long it's been since I've been wanting to talk about this video, so a huge thanks to them. You can check out their video channels. There's a link to each of their channels in the description below. I want to give a shout out to my Patreon supporters once again this month. If you join my Patreon, you'll get a chance to either join my Discord server so you can have one-on-one chats with myself, or watch Patreon exclusive live streams and be in calls with myself and other Patreon supporters. So it's always worth a chance to join and get to know each other and fans. I'm trying to connect with you guys more. So I just want to shout out to my top Patreon supporters: Lance Wolfstar, Pyrodron, Rainbow Dash Fan, James the Brony, Devon T. Gering, Risky Dragon, OLD, Seeker, Sanjay DK, DELC17, Transformer Brett, Invisible Gust, Picademus, CT Stormwing, CT0798, Mayan Jinx, Tristan N. Milner, Patronators, Kickit6, Steamworks, The Wicked Merman, Nukas the Name, Alex Hunter, Brongar, Unknown620, Charles Meeker, Seth Richards, Aces Wild, Mystic Mind, JRog1989, Meg the Pict, Rocky Harmony, and Pedro Lopez. If you guys want to support me on the Patreon, you can find a description below. Thanks once again for watching my content, guys. It's highly appreciated. I know things are tough right now, but here's hoping things will get better soon and we'll be able to hang out in person. So, take care, stay safe, wash your hands, wear your masks and all that other nonsense. Stay creative.